Hey guys, welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks for being here, for being subscribed. If you're not, hit that button. And if you're listening on YouTube, hit that like button. It's like walking in the room and hitting that light switch. Let's brighten up the place and get into this holy mess. I had some thoughts about this, and so I just wanted to talk about it and get your take on it. I recently saw this post on the Neighborhood Talk. It was a post that they shared where Kanye has some very interesting, to say the least, pictures that he took of his current wife, Bianca, and the post says, "No pants this year." Now, some of you may be thinking, well, what does this have to do with the church, with pastors? What does this have to do with anything? Well, in light of all of the stuff that was going on when it comes to T.D. Jakes and some allegations and rumors that have come out about him, as well as what we do know, that he was hanging out with Diddy and he was supposed to be Diddy's mentor and Diddy is his mentee, which I talked about that in a previous conversation. But I wanted to talk about this because when we think about T.D. Jakes and his affiliation to Diddy and how that was something that profited him and benefited him, it just really goes to show you how much of a mess on a large scale, shall we say, the churches are in, because they put people and have put people like Diddy and Kanye, in my personal opinion, on a pedestal because of the money and the connections, when it really shouldn't be about that. And it just is a bad look, because this man, allegedly, Kanye, has a church, which that's just a tax situation, okay? He's got this church, but yet he's doing stuff like this. And then we know previously he was going on tour prior to COVID with his Sunday services. And if you all recall, when he went to several churches. He went to, just to name a few, New Birth Missionary Baptist Church. I believe that's the name of the church. That's the church that Pastor Jamalbryant is the preacher of. Formerly Bishop Eddie Long, deceased, was the founder and pastor of that church. And then he also was at Joel Osteen's church. And so, when I see this in today's time, and I don't know if Kanye would be considered someone that is what they call a backslider, or if he still is supposed to be this Christian man of God, believer, or whatever. And then he's got his wife looking like this, dressing like this. And just, I would say, the public downward spiral that he's gone in. Did those same pastors and preachers, did they reach out to him during this time of this downward spiral and not living what would look like to be a holy life because it didn't benefit them financially? Let's just be honest, because when Kanye went to speak at the New Birth Missionary Baptist Church, Jamalbryant, there was, I believe, another pastor there, T.I., he discussed it and he talked about it and talked about how that pastor tried to get people to give a lot of money. And then it was this huge orchestration at Pastor Joel Osteen's church of Kanye West being there. And I'm wondering, what would these people do now if he were to show up at their church with his wife, current wife, dressed like that and looking like that? If the money was right, would they still welcome him there? I want to read a little bit of this article about his Sunday services and his tour, and how a lot of these pastors gave him a place on their stage because of his fame, not because of his experience in, one, being a Christian, and two, being a Christian leader. Because just because someone is now a new believer doesn't mean that they should be getting a stage presence to be able to speak whatever they feel like speaking. But the power of influence is real. Idol worship culture is real. And I believe that a lot of these pastors, they really played into that for the sake of the dollars. So the story reads, many in the church community rejoiced at seeing a Goliath in pop culture put Jesus front and center. Sunday service sprouted from Calabasas and became a traveling phenomenon, landing at Coachella on Easter Sunday and stopping in various churches across America. Pastor Jamal Bryant, who leads New Birth Missionary Baptist Church in the Atlanta area, welcomed West to worship with his Sunday service choir in September 2019. Bryant opened the door with enthusiasm after getting the call, taking it as an opportunity to reach new audiences. He says a whole swath of people who don't ordinarily go to church came. It was a major outreach opportunity. Churches are getting older, so to see a rush of young people who are excited about God in the church with one of the largest living musical legends of this generation, it was impactful. After Bryant's sermon, West, cloaked in white, took the stage for almost an hour while the choir before him sang beautifully harmonized gospel classics along with reworked tracks from Ye's catalog. Bryant recalled West and younger churchgoers being over the moon about the experience, although not everyone in attendance understood the hype. But let's be clear, the huge rush of younger people that came to the church, they didn't come there for God, the big G-O-D. They came there for the little G-O-D, the God of Kanye that they idolized. That's what they came for. But trust and believe, Jamal Bryant knew that, but he also knew that this was going to be a huge money grab for him, okay? So with that being said, when Kanye went to Joel Osteen's church, it was really no different. And I would say that was an even larger production than what happened at Jamal Bryant's church. Now, this story is from the Huffington Post, and it says, rapper and producer Kanye West visited America's largest church on Sunday, this was in November 2019, to talk about his newfound calling, serving as an evangelist for Christ. West spoke with televangelist Joel Osteen at Houston's Lakewood Church during a morning service, giving the 16,000 attendees a glimpse of his spiritual awakening and his signature swagger. Jesus has won the victory because now I told you about my arrogance and cockiness already. Now the greatest artist that God has ever created is now working for him. And I guarantee you when he said that, the majority of the people who were there, including Joel Osteen, clapped. Talk about pride, right? At the time, West's wife, Kim, and their daughter, Northwest, and Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick had front row seats to the conversation. West's 20-minute talk was followed by another appearance at Lakewood's evening service, where West and his Sunday service choir performed songs from his new album, Jesus is King. The concert also featured songs from West's previous albums, such as Jesus Walks, as well as covers of Stevie Wonder's Overjoyed and Destiny's Child's Say My Name. Okay. West apparently cast himself as a supporting player for much of the concert, appearing an hour into the gospel performance and standing at a microphone near the back of the stage with Northwest. He altered his 2016 song Father Stretch My Hands Part 1 with a reference to Texas death row inmate Rodney Reed. Reed, who has received support from several celebrities, including West and Kardashian was granted an execution stay. Kardashian West visited Reed in prison on that Friday. And Joel Osteen made a lot of money. Now, the article doesn't say that, but I'm saying that because clearly it said over 16,000 attendees. He had 2 appearances that day, one earlier that day and one that evening. He was married to Kim at the time. Now they've since been divorced. He's remarried. And this woman that he is parading around that was looking like a concubine, a slave, if you will. I mean, it's giving me the vibes of Diddy and Cassie, but not Cassie dressing the way he has this girl dressing. But honestly, Diddy might as well have the way that he was treating her all those years. So I'm saying this to say, and I think I did hear that Jamalbryant allegedly sent him his money back. I don't know if I believe that. I don't really know if I believe that. But all of these pastors, there was a lot of them. And on social media, I remember there's this guy named Marcus Rogers. He's got probably almost 800,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel. He claims that God speaks to him every 5 minutes of the day and all kinds of stuff. But he even said that Donald Trump was going to be reelected. He prophesied it, said God told him that, and he wasn't. But anyway, he was trying to get in touch with Kanye West. It was just a lot, right? But those people that got connected with him during that time in his life, because it clearly doesn't look like he's trying to live that life right now, it was a money grab for them. Those people didn't care about his soul or his spirit, because if they did, they would not have allowed him to have that type of presence at their church the way that they did. They did it for the money. And some of you may be saying, well, what does this have to do with his new wife and how he's parading her around and she's walking around wearing nothing? This is who he was then. When he came to those people's churches, nothing has changed. This is just who he is. And they used him. Yeah, they could say, well, he reached out to them and they welcomed him to their church. But they knew that this was going to be an opportunity for them to make a whole lot more money. And if they were truly pastors, truly spiritual leaders, they would not have allowed that to have taken place, period. Kanye West did not have years in this, I don't even want to say industry, but he didn't have years in ministry and seeing spiritual growth and all of these different things that most people would need before they would be put, I wouldn't say on a pedestal, but before they would have a presence before a whole lot of people to be able to influence them in a negative way. Because even Jesus, he lived for 33 years. He didn't start preaching until he was 30. All of those years, he was learning and being taught. So Kanye West, he claims to have had a spiritual awakening, and then he's doing these Sunday services and having a choir and then making an album called Jesus is King. And that qualifies him to be able to come before so many people to share his quote unquote testimony. And it just didn't sound like anything that was a real testimony, because the Bible says even the devil believes and trembles. So I don't believe that these people are really pastors. And that's why I wanted to talk about this, because I'm not giving T.D. Jakes a pass at all. I've said that I don't believe that he's really a man of God either. But I just believe that a lot of these people, like the T.D. Jakeses, the Joel Osteens, the Jamalbryants, these are not the true people that you should be looking to for spiritual guidance, spiritual awakening, getting a closer personal connection and relationship with God, because these are people who are business people in churches with the title of pastor or bishop or whatever their title is, but it's really for the sake of business. It's a money grab. And so to see where Kanye West is now, what are they doing to, and all the stuff, all the rants and all the things that he has done since that time, what have they really done to try to spiritually guide him to a place that's going to be beneficial for him? No, it's been about what's been beneficial for them. And to see this woman being paraded around like that, I don't even really believe that's what she wants to do. Nobody can convince me that that woman wants to walk around wearing almost nothing in public. It's disgusting. But what's even more disgusting to me is to know that this same man had a presence on the platforms of these churches that were profiting off of the opportunity that they got to use Kanye West's presence to make a profit. So that's what got me to wanting to talk about this, guys. Again, just some of my thoughts based on what I've seen and what I am seeing, especially in light of all the things that are going on now with this TD Jakes situation. But anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts respectfully in the comment section below. Thank you so much for being here, for liking and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until the next time, I just wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye.